So Grand Rising, everybody. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate it. Do me a favor as you jump on, drop your city and state. Let me know where you're tuning in from. My name is Eric, coming in from Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm a financial strategist. Usually I'm on anywhere between 5 and 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, this morning I slept in. Just be honest with you, I slept in this morning, and sometimes it takes a toll on you. So I wanted to go ahead and get a session in to make sure that people had an idea of one, my consistency, two, the importance of understanding how to improve their personal finances and how serious it is, and three, to know that you don't have to live a life of struggle. So if you can see this behind me, I'm also broadcasting to my YouTube channel. If you decide to go to the YouTube channel and actually view this again, our YouTube is in our link in the description. Once you go to the link tree, you can scroll down and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, we have TikTok. If you're watching this from our YouTube or our Facebook, we have a TikTok channel as well. It is the Financial Strategist, or you can find us as National Business Builders. Trying to get our YouTube subscribers up so we can actually get this message out. Got a serious yet interesting topic, and I think it's interesting every morning. I guess I'm biased about it, but I think it's interesting every morning. But I did this yesterday, right before a webinar that I hosted last night, and I had about 25, maybe 30 minutes to go live before I actually did my webinar. So I wanted to address this again because, in my opinion, this is some things that a lot of people are struggling with. Why am I broke? As I take a sip of my hot coffee, why am I broke? Man, it's a little chilly here in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm not from here. I'm actually from Louisiana. I've been around a lot of colder places. This is not cold at all, but it's still a little chilly here. A little uncomfortable, but we're working with it. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about this before I got my day started. Why am I still broke? Or why am I broke? Why am I always broke? That's a question for a lot of people. And there's a lot of different reasons why people are broke. Some novice, not experts, some novice will come on and say, hey, well, people are broke because they're living above their means. What about the people who are not living above their means? Why are they broke? It really kills me when people say things that they don't really understand, or they regurgitate things that they heard somebody else say. Everybody's life is different and everybody's struggle is different. And what one person is doing and what's causing them to have a financial reaction is not the reason why everybody's having the same financial reaction. Why am I always broke? There's a couple of reasons why people don't have the money that they want or live the financial lifestyle that they desire. But let's take it back a little bit. Every year, at the end of the year, somebody's gonna come out and talk about how they're gonna change their life. They're gonna change their perspective. They're gonna change the way they think about money, and they always say that they're gonna do that at the end of every year, going into the next year. They talk about how the year before was so bad. For example, 2023 was really bad. It was really bad for a lot of people. But so was 2022. And so was 2021. And we can keep on going all the way back to the 2000s. Everybody had a bad year at some point in time. It was a bad year at some point in time for somebody. And some people decided that they were going to do something about it. They said, hey, you know what? I'm going to change the way I think. I'm going to change my perspective, and I'm going to change my mindset about how I think about my finances, how I think about my resources, and how I think money works. You cannot put everybody in the same box. It doesn't work like that. Can't put everybody in the same box. Can't put everybody's situation in the same box. Everybody has a different situation. Bad things happen to good people. A&Z Grand Rising. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, Lester. It's everybody has something to be concerned about. I don't want to say complain about, but to be concerned about. So we can't take everybody's problems and everybody's situations and put it in one box and say, hey, this is the reason why this is happening, and this is how you fix it. But I do know and understand that everybody is facing the same similar challenges. Everybody's always facing the same similar challenges. And there's five similar challenges that everybody is facing. They are inflation, high taxes, high debt, poor credit, and less than the desired amount of money to invest for the future. Those are the same challenges that everybody faces, whether you have money, whether you're wealthy, whether you have a better financial plan than somebody else. Everybody faces those same challenges. But let's get to the basics of it. Why am I always broke? I can remember when I was younger and didn't understand money as well as I understand money now. I didn't understand finances as well as I understand finances now. I can remember when I was young and I just didn't understand. I wasn't looking to understand. I didn't even know I was broke and living paycheck to paycheck. I had money when I needed to have money. When I wanted to have money, I was able to go places. I was able to buy things. I was able to do things. And I was happy about that. And I didn't think twice about, man, I didn't have any emergency funds, or I didn't have any, immediate savings. I didn't think about that. See, I grew up in a time to where, my parents were baby boomers, and they believed for a long time that as long as the bills was paid and they had a roof over their head, that they were fine. There was no financial education. There wasn't a talk about it. There wasn't a conversation. And for those of you who say, hey, you know what? I wish that they would teach finances in school. Why? Why would a system that was set up to oppress us, why would they teach us how to be successful? School teaches you how to get a job. And as long as you have a job, the government has someone to tax. Somebody's going to get that in a minute. So why would the very system that teaches us how to be dependent upon a job, why would it teach us how to maintain and manage our personal finances? The two don't go together. So when I hear people say, well, you know what? They should have taught finances in school, or they reminisce about the old days and talk about how they used to teach how to balance a checkbook, or they reminisce about the old days about how they used to teach skill sets in school, carpentry and plumbing and home economics. Those days are over with. And now you have to understand and realize that if you did not learn it when you were younger, it's not your fault. But if you don't know it as an adult, you become responsible for it. So as an adult, I didn't look for it. I was taught, just like a lot of people, go to school, make good grades, and get a good job. But nobody told me what to do with the money, with the money that I was going to earn from the job that I got. True, every state is different, but the schools are not different. Schools are taught by curriculums. And most recently, more educators are leaving the scene because their hands are tied, because they can no longer teach. It doesn't take an educated person to be able to read from a piece of paper, but it takes an educated person to be able to teach and reach different mindsets. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. I'm here to talk about financial education. Financial education is the key to financial independence. And without financial education, you will not become financially independent. And without that, you will not become financially free. Never mind keeping a budget. Never mind a budget. Because You know, a budget is cool when you have money to budget. But when you have no money to budget, what sense does it make to budget? I'm trying to clean these glasses, man. So we talk about things that we hear, and most people will jump on platforms. They will jump on social media platforms, and they are all hands on. They're all in. I find the most opinionated people that I've ever found in my life. I find them on social media, because social media gives people courage. It gives them power. It gives them the ability to hide behind a picture and throw rocks and hide their hands. That's why a lot of people are also broke, because we were never taught how to learn. We were only taught how to memorize. And if you didn't go outside of that traditional teaching of how to memorize and regurgitate, if you never learned how to research and be independent and be an independent thinker, then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to succumb to the pressure of what we have now. And it's a world of blaming other people for our problems. Was it orchestrated for people to work jobs and be workers and not thinkers? Of course it was. That was the whole plan in the beginning. A nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. That's what wealthy people want. Ultimately, wealthy people want people to work. As long as wealthy people who have money, resources, and ideas have people to work to see those ideas out, then they're going to continue to be wealthy. But I'm here to share with you how you can break that thought process, break that chain, break that mindset, and begin to understand how to live a better life. So why am I broke? Most people don't understand how to manage their finances. Most people don't understand how to manage their money. Understand, man, it has to start somewhere. And because for several people, it didn't happen in school or in a classroom type environment, when they got older, it's not being received well, because we're looking for something in an ebook. We're looking for something in a book for dummies. We're looking for something that we can read and do on our own because we're embarrassed, or we want to feel empowered. We want so badly to feel empowered, some of us, to where we just want to do it ourselves. But let's just be honest. Do we really have the financial intelligence to make the financial decisions that we need to stop being broke? Many of us have learned from our parents, people who we respect in our community, from churches, from pastors, from leaders, community leaders. Many of us have learned how to survive in the struggle. But not a lot of us have learned how not to struggle. I'm just sharing a little bit of my story. That's me. I can't speak for everybody else. But I know why I was always broke. I was always broke because I didn't understand how to manage my money. I didn't understand that I had my own economy. As soon as I started working and bringing money into my household, as soon as I had money in my hand, as soon as I decided to start trading time for money, I had my own economy. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know how to manage my finances. So I stayed broke. I didn't understand the difference between being able to buy something and being able to afford it. I didn't understand that. And because I didn't understand it, I ended up staying broke for a long time. It's funny when you think about it, because we're conditioned and groomed at an early age. We're taught to consume, to eat up everything that we produce. The least little thing that we produce as consumers, we are taught to eat it up. Anyway, I didn't understand how to manage my finances, so I stayed broke. Also, Uncle Sam was taking a lot of money out of my paycheck. And then later on, I realized that it wasn't that Uncle Sam was taking the money as much as I was giving Uncle Sam the money. I didn't understand that I controlled how much money I paid in taxes when I worked a job. I didn't understand that one form, the W-4, the form that you fill out when you tell your employer how much money to take out your check and taxes. I didn't understand how that form worked in my benefit on my behalf. I didn't understand how to leverage that form. I was so afraid of the IRS from the stories that I heard. I was so filled with fear that I would much rather be broke and owe. I would rather owe debtors and creditors than to take the money that I earned from working to live a better life in taxes. I never understood that. I didn't understand that getting a refund was not a good thing. I, like a lot of other people, would celebrate refund time because for a lot of people, that's the biggest check that they see. And let's be honest, who wants to owe the IRS? So because of lack of financial education, lack of financial knowledge, lack of understanding the tax system in which we operate, I didn't understand. So I chose, because I didn't understand, I chose to overpay taxes. And by overpaying taxes, it helped me to stay broke. It helped me to live paycheck to paycheck. As I was waiting for that tax refund faithfully every February, I remember some years I wouldn't even file my taxes with my W-2. I would file my taxes with my last check stub. I don't know if you guys remember that. You used to be able to file your taxes with your last check stub at the end of the year. I don't know if you can still do it or not because I don't have a job. But I used to file my taxes with my final check stub at the end of the year in a hurry to get the process going. And throughout the time, as things changed, with the change of the W-4, with the change of the tax system, they implemented systems to where if you were married or if you had a dependent, you had to wait till a certain day to get after a certain date to get your taxes. But I remember those days. I would celebrate getting a refund, not knowing that I was celebrating getting my own money back. Didn't understand that. And it's not that I didn't understand it because I was dumb. I was merely ignorant to the fact. I was merely ignorant to the fact of understanding how money works. So why was I always broke? I was always broke because I didn't understand how to manage my finances. Uncle Sam was taking way too much money out of my check in taxes. I was always waiting on a tax refund. Someone has a question. I didn't file taxes last year. Can I just file this year? I owe last year. I'm not a tax professional. I'm a business owner. I would recommend you take that up with a tax professional. And do your research because you can actually go to the irs.gov and ask that question. They'll have professionals that can answer that question for you there. Once again, a lot of us are looking for answers on these cheesy social media platforms. And it's sad. We're more comfortable asking a stranger about some things than we are doing our own research because not knowing me from Adam, if I start talking about some things and it starts to make sense, of course, I do know the answer. I'd rather you go and look it up because that's your life, that's your livelihood. Not trying to be funny, but not knowing me, we're ready to trust people on these platforms without doing our own research. I didn't have an emergency fund. I did not have an emergency fund. And I was always broke because every time an emergency popped up, I either used a credit card or I went to a payday loan place to get a loan to fund that emergency. Yeah, not having an emergency fund will keep you broke if you don't know, if you didn't know. And even as I could have corrected my W-4 and kept more of my money, that could have been the catalyst to start me off with an emergency fund. Why was I always broke? I was always broke, man. I'm talking about as an adult with a family, with responsibilities, was always broke. This was back in the 90s and the 2000s, and people are still using the same rhetoric, the same responses. Oh, this year I'm going to change my finances. This year I'm going to do something different. Nothing's changed because people are not changing. I used to pay for stuff that I never used, subscriptions and memberships. I used to pay for stuff. I used to sign up for stuff, and then I forget that I signed up for it. I never used it. Think about it. If you sign up for 3 monthly memberships or subscriptions of approximately $20 each, that's $60 a month. 60 times 12, that is $720 a year. Now, it may not sound like a lot of money. And of course, people who have you sign up for these memberships don't really explain to you how that can really eat up into your wealth. They're explaining it the same way. It's not that much. It's only this much money. Now, if you're using it and you're getting something out of it, it's one thing. But if you're not using it and you're blowing $60 a month, $720 a year, and you do that for 10 years, that's over $7,000 in 10 years. That's why I was always broke. I was always broke because I was choosing to spend my money on things that I didn't need, things that wasn't useful to me. I had no discipline. And eating out, oh my goodness, we would eat out so much. We would eat out so much it was crazy. Tanita, Grand Rising, thanks for jumping on. We would eat out so much until it didn't make any sense. Bird, Grand Rising, thanks for jumping on. We eat out so much sporadically, randomly. It wasn't like we're going to wait to a Friday or a Saturday and treat ourselves and treat our family to a night out. We would eat out on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, the whole weekend. And now you're talking about it starts off harmless. It starts off really harmless. 30, 40 bucks. You go out there and get some burgers or get some chicken for yourself and your family. And then next thing you know, you've racked up $400 in a week eating out. And you do that, I don't know, maybe twice a month. $800 a month. Listen to what I'm telling you guys. $800 a month for 12 months. Can you do the math? That's like $9,600 a year. $9,600 a year on eating out. Yeah. People are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling financially, and are broke. Some of them, not all, for that reason. I had no discipline. We had no discipline. Because we had access to it, we would spend it. I remember my dad saying, when we were little, my dad would say, Can't wait to spend that money. That money's burning a hole in your pocket. And it was. It was burning a hole in my pocket. Those were the disciplines that we did not learn and were not taught as kids, as young people. And the Bible says to train a child in the way that they should go, so that when they grow up and grow older, they may kind of stray away, but they're going to get back on track. But what you don't know is that people can't teach you what they don't know themselves. Or if they don't know how to teach what they know, it's just as bad. I made a post early this morning, about 3:30 or so a.m. this morning on my TikTok. And the post read along the lines of people will look for the easy way out, pretty much. People will look for the easy way out. We will look for answers in ebooks. We will look for ways to make money before we look for ways to keep our money. We're sold on the idea that we need to make more money, but we cannot convince ourselves the importance of keeping the money that we make. We're out of order. We're out of order as a people who are struggling financially, because what we want versus what we need does not line up. We want to believe that we are financially intelligent enough to make the financial decisions that we need to stop struggling financially. And we're embarrassed to admit, not just to ourselves, but to other people, that we just don't know. Because let's be honest, you can't know what you weren't taught. And if you're not doing it, you can't share it. We look for the easy way out. We desire fast money. We desire quick results. But honestly, how many people are out there looking for ways to keep more of your money? We will invest in learning how to trade Forex, for example. No knock to anybody who's trading Forex. I think it's a great skill to have. I started doing Forex in 2017. Foreign exchange, if you don't know, it's trading. We'll invest in learning how to make money. Something that somebody's convinced us that's fast. But what we won't do is we won't invest in ways to learn how to understand the tax system, the same tax system that's going to tax us on the money that we make. Do you need help keeping your money, or do you want help keeping your money? The two are different. And that's where the division comes. The division comes when we know that people need help. But the question is, do people want help, and are they willing to do what's required? Most people are not. Most people are not willing to do what's required to keep more of their money and understand how finances work, to improve their own personal finances, because it takes work. It takes work. It's really a difference. The solutions are very, very clear right here. You can go to my link in my bio. You can go to the link in my bio in the description, and you can go and you can sign up for the business and financial education membership. That's where it's going to start, because you're going to need some tools. Once you sign up for the business financial education membership, I'll contact you. I can hear somebody right now in the background saying, "Oh, I knew it was a catch." A catch. A catch. People are struggling financially, living paycheck to paycheck with no earthly knowledge on how to stop struggling financially and living paycheck to paycheck. And we would much rather, in most cases, go and buy a book that's going to teach us how to budget. Go and buy a folder or a wallet that's going to teach us how to budget. And avoid mindset training. We'll avoid things that teach us how to shift our mindset, because that's where the rubber meets the road. It doesn't matter what class you take. It doesn't matter what you sign up for. If you're not ready to shift your mindset and shift the way that you think about your current situation, nothing's going to change. And those are facts. How you perceive someone else and their success or their forward progress, and how you feel that you can do the same thing, you got to ask yourself, do you really have the discipline to lock down and learn how to improve your personal finances? Are you willing to give up your current friends? Are you willing to give up your current connections? Because people are going to be trying to hold you back. People are going to be talking to you and trying to distract you. Are you really willing to be laser focused in order to improve your situation for yourself and for your family? Hell, it might be family members. It may be family members that are going to be distracting you. Are you willing to separate yourself from the distractions that's going to stop you from becoming financially independent? We have the tools available, and you need tools just like when you go to school, you need books. But just going to class and not cracking open that book and not paying attention, it doesn't matter. We're so focused on making our ends meet to where when we get a free minute, the first thing we want to do is we want to fall back into that distraction. We want to get on social media and we want to look for entertainment instead of education. We want to get on social media and we want to laugh and unwind and just forget about the weight of the world. I was broke for years as a high income earner, lived paycheck to paycheck and didn't even know it. And God had to separate me from a job that I was holding on to. And made me totally dependent upon him. It's funny how things work out. Most of us don't want to do the work. We just want to have the results. I didn't understand how to manage my money. Uncle Sam, I was giving Uncle Sam way too much money out of my check in taxes. I did not understand that taxes was my biggest expense. I had no idea. I went to work, I got taxed, I got paid. And that cycle went on for years. Go to work, get taxed, get paid. I go buy clothes, I get taxed. I go buy food, I get taxed. I go get gas, I get taxed. Everything was taxed. 50% of my income was going to taxes. And then you have somebody that comes up to you and saying, hey, you got to live below your means. Man, I'm living below my means. I'm living off of 50% of my money already. I'm getting taxed. 50% of my money is going to taxes. I'm already living below my means. You got to live less. That's the only way that you're going to be able to survive. You got to live less. Those personalities, man, they really, really rub my inner core. Because most people really mean well. But let's be honest. Most people don't understand how money works. When does it come a point when it's truly not your fault and an income problem? That's a great question. When you have minimized your taxes, minimized your expenses, and changed your lifestyle. When you have managed your finances, when you take control and start to manage your finances, and you look at your tax situation, and you have a job, and you say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to overpay taxes. I'm not going to look forward to a refund. I'm going to look forward to getting as much money as I can in my paycheck every pay period. I'm going to take a look at my unnecessary expenses. I'm going to take a look at what I'm doing, and I'm going to minimize my unnecessary expenses, and I'm going to keep more of my money, which is going to increase my cash flow. And I'm going to prioritize my expenses and my debt. When I've done that and I still see that I'm having a problem, I need to look for ways to increase my income or create some revenue. That was an amazing question. And I hope I answered that question to your liking. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope that made sense to you. That's when. And for those of you who are on YouTube or Facebook, I just shared a picture on my background on TikTok. It says financial independence, financial management, step 1. Increase your cash flow, lower your expenses, and lower your taxes. That's financial management. Number 2, create a budget. Pay yourself first. Make a list of all your expenses. Give your money directions and instructions where your money should go. Don't just let your money dangle. You have to give your money instructions. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will walk away from you. Prioritize your debt, because in today's economy, with today's inflation, there is a huge possibility that you may not be able to pay all of your debt. So you want to prioritize the things that you have to pay, because if something has to go to the wayside, then guess what? It won't be you, because you paid yourself first. And then number 3, now, more income or revenue. Create yourself a side hustle or start a home-based business. Here's the problem with a lot of personalities. We don't understand the difference between having an income problem and having a cash flow problem. Got to check the time because I got to get started here in about 20 minutes. Many of us don't have an income problem. Many of us have a cash flow problem. So I want you guys to hold on right quick on TikTok. Y'all guys hold on, okay? So if you're viewing this from YouTube, I appreciate you. In my Facebook, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you go and check us out at nationalbb.net. That's nationalbb.net. You can go to that link. You can actually type in the search box business membership, business education membership, and you can get started today. Okay. Like I always say, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. I will see everybody at the top, because there's too many people struggling at the bottom. Peace.